Ladies, let me tell you something. You keep waiting for someone to come save you. You keep hoping somebody will call you, check in on you, show up for you. Notice how much you've been hurting in silence. But here's the truth that's gonna sting. Nobody's coming. Nobody's gonna swoop into your life with a magic wand, heal all your wounds, and make your dreams come true. That fantasy, that's not real life. Real life demands something deeper, something tougher, something raw. It demands you to rise, to stand, to fight, to become the one you've been waiting for. And I know that's hard to hear because we were raised to believe that help is on the way. That if you're good enough, patient enough, quiet enough, someone will see you. But life doesn't reward the silent. It rewards the bold. It rewards the woman who gets tired of sitting in the same place and decides to flip the table instead of waiting for a seat. The woman who finally understands if she doesn't show up for herself, nobody else will. Let me ask you something. How long have you been putting yourself second, third, dead last? How many times have you betrayed your own intuition, silenced your own voice, just to be liked, accepted, or chosen? And where did that get you? Be honest. Did all that shrinking, all that pleasing, all that waiting, did it get you the love you deserved, the peace you prayed for, the life you imagined? Or did it just leave you drained, resentful, invisible? You need to stop expecting someone else to love you into wholeness. Start acting like you're all you've got, because you are, and not in a bitter way, not in a I don't need nobody way. No, in a powerful, grounded, spiritually aligned way. The kind of way that says, I am no longer abandoning myself. I am no longer waiting for permission to live. See, the moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment everything starts to change. Because now your power isn't scattered. It's not resting in the hands of your past, your parents, your ex, or your circumstances. It's yours. And when a woman finally understands that she is not a victim, not a side character, not an afterthought, she becomes unstoppable. You've been through some things. You've cried into your pillow while the world slept. You've kept moving with a cracked heart and tired bone. You've smiled through heartbreak, worked through grief, and kept showing up while people took you for granted. But sis, survival is not your destiny. Thriving is, and you can't thrive while begging to be seen by people who are blind to your value. You can't thrive while living on crumbs and calling it a feast. You can't thrive while waiting for closure from people who were never open to begin with. Let me say this clearly. You are not too much. You are not too emotional. You are not too loud, too complicated, or too difficult to love. You are not broken. What you are is powerful, intuitive, deep, and divine. But the world taught you to apologize for your magic, to water yourself down, to play small. And now it's time to unlearn all that. Reclaim yourself. Start walking into rooms like you belong there, because you do. Start making decisions like your life depends on it, because it does. Stop giving your time, your body, your energy to people who don't pour back into you. You don't need validation from anybody. You don't need to be chosen. You need to choose yourself every day, without hesitation, without guilt. I'm telling you, there's a version of you that's waiting on the other side of your excuses. A version of you that's focused, fierce, unapologetically powerful. She's not afraid to be alone, because she knows she's never really alone. She's got herself, and that's more than enough. She doesn't wait for motivation. She creates momentum. She doesn't need a man to complete her. She's already whole. She doesn't chase approval. She commands respect. You are her. You've just forgotten. This life will test you. It will disappoint you. People will lie to you. Opportunities will pass you by. Plans will fall apart. But hear me. Nothing can destroy the woman who knows who she is, who knows that no matter what happens, she will rise, she will rebuild, she will start again, not because it's easy, not because she has it all figured out, but because quitting is no longer an option. You think starting over is embarrassing. Try staying stuck. Try spending the next 10 years hoping someone saves you. Try looking in the mirror at 60 and realizing you spent your whole life waiting. That's the real tragedy, not failure. Wasted time, wasted potential, wasted truth. It's time to get serious about your life. What are you tolerating that you should have walked away from a long time ago? What gifts are you burying under fear and doubt? What stories are you still telling yourself that are keeping you small? You don't have time to keep lying to yourself. Not anymore. Let them think you're arrogant. Let them say you've changed. You have. You're no longer begging to be seen. You're no longer explaining your worth. You're no longer staying where love is conditional and respect is optional. You are not the same woman you used to be, and that's the point. From this day forward, make a vow to yourself, a sacred, non-negotiable vow. I will no longer wait to be chosen. I choose myself. I will no longer dim my light to make others comfortable. I will shine. I will no longer tolerate one-sided love, half-hearted effort, or lukewarm intentions. I will give myself everything I've been waiting for. Start acting like you're all you've got, because you are, and that's not a curse. That's a blessing, because now you don't have to wait. You don't have to ask. You don't have to plead. You get to decide. You get to build. You get to become. And when you walk in your power like that, life responds differently. Doors open, people shift, energy moves. Because you're no longer aligning with desperation, you're aligning with destiny. So wipe your tears, take a breath, and remind yourself, this life is mine, and I'm not wasting another second hoping someone else makes it better. I am the love, I am the security, I am the purpose, I am the protector, I am the breakthrough. And baby, when you start showing up like that, watch how the whole world starts to rise to meet you. Because the moment you understand that you're all you've got, you stop tolerating half-lives. You stop making excuses for your pain. You stop shrinking into spaces too small for your calling. That version of you who's been playing safe, she's tired. She's exhausted from pretending she's fine. She's worn out from trying to make broken people comfortable. And she's done with the noise. Done with the guilt, done with the constant shape-shifting just to be accepted by people who wouldn't recognize her worth if it screamed in their face. You don't owe them your silence. You don't owe them your time. You don't owe anyone the watered-down version of you just to be liked. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them distance themselves. The real ones will find you when you stop hiding who you are. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to disrupt, to break generational curses, to walk through fire and come out glowing. And yeah, it's lonely at first. The healing, it's not glamorous. There are nights you'll question everything. There are mornings where the weight of your own strength feels unbearable. But you keep going because you finally see what's on the other side, freedom. Freedom from validation, freedom from comparison, freedom from the lies you've told yourself, the lie that you're not enough, the lie that you need someone to complete you, the lie that your past defines you. You're more than what happened to you. You're more than the heartbreak, the betrayal, the abandonment. You are not a product of what people did to you. You are a product of how you rose despite it. And my God, you've risen. Even when they counted you out, you kept going. Even when they overlooked you, you kept building. Even when you had no support, no applause, no map, you kept moving. That kind of resilience, that's divine, that's spiritual. That's not something you learn in books. That's something you earn in battle. So stop questioning whether you're strong enough. You are. Stop wondering if you're too late. You're right on time. The version of you that is coming, she's not here to play nice. She's here to collect what was always hers. Joy, peace, purpose, power. She's not waiting for permission. She's taking up space. And let's talk about love for a second. Not romantic love, self-love. The kind that doesn't waver based on who stays or leaves. the kind that isn't built on compliments or likes, the kind that says, I choose me, even if nobody else does. Because if you can't sit in silence with yourself and feel full, whole, grounded, then no relationship will ever fill that void. You've got to become your own peace, your own validation, your own source of joy. And when you get there, relationships become a choice, not a crutch. And don't you dare confuse solitude with loneliness. Sometimes God separates you so he can rebuild you. Sometimes your isolation is preparation. Sometimes your delay is protection. And sometimes the storm is not there to break you. It's there to reveal you. You learn who you are when life strips everything away. When the fake friends fall off. When the relationship ends. When the job is gone. When the noise dies down. That's when your true voice begins to speak. And if you listen, you'll hear her say, you were never weak. You were never too sensitive. You were just surrounded by people who didn't know what to do with your depth. And you've got to forgive yourself too, for all the years you doubted yourself, for all the times you settled, for all the dreams you buried. You didn't know better, but now you do. And when you know better, you do better. You stop giving access to people who haven't earned it. You stop letting fear drive your decisions. You stop living on autopilot. You wake up, you show up, and you speak up for yourself, your vision, your healing, your boundary. The woman who emerges when she realizes she's all she's got. She's dangerous in the best way. She's focused. She's clear. She's grounded. She's no longer trying to be everything to everyone. She's becoming everything to herself. You owe that to yourself. You owe yourself the version of you who doesn't flinch at rejection, who doesn't shrink in rooms where her power is misunderstood, who doesn't fold every time someone disapproves. That version of you, she's already inside you. You just have to decide to bring her forward. And don't wait for the new year, the perfect timing, or someone to co-sign your decision. Today is the day. Right now is the moment. This breath, this beat, this second, this is where your transformation begins. Because you are all you've got. And that's not a burden. That's the most powerful truth you'll ever realize. When you get that deep in your soul, something shifts. Your standards rise. Your circle tightens. Your purpose sharpens. You don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't explain anymore. You embody. You don't look back anymore. You build forward. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You don't respond to every insult. You don't engage every battle. You don't seek revenge because you're too busy elevating, too focused on healing, too aligned with your assignment. This is your moment. Not when you get the job, not when you find the relationship, not when everything falls perfectly into place. Right now, in the middle of your becoming, this is your moment. This is your rise, and I hope to God you feel that. I hope you claim it. You've waited long enough to be seen, to be chosen, to be enough. But here's the revelation. You are always enough. The only thing missing was your belief in it. You kept putting your power in other people's hands, hoping they'd reflect it back to you. But power doesn't work that way. Power isn't gifted, it's claimed. And it's time you claim yours. You see, when you finally stop outsourcing your worth, a new kind of confidence is born. Not loud, not arrogant, not performative, just a quiet, grounded, undeniable presence. The kind that doesn't beg, the kind that doesn't chase, the kind that doesn't explain. You just are. You walk in the room and the energy shifts. Not because you demand attention, but because you own yourself. That's what happens when you realize you're all you've got. You stop negotiating with mediocrity. You stop entertaining people who treat you like you're optional. You stop saying yes to things that drain your soul. You no longer confuse being needed with being loved. You no longer confuse attention with affection. You finally see the difference. You stop letting people breadcrumb you with just enough to keep you hoping. No more almost love. No more one-day promises. No more holding space for people who never intended to stay. You're not desperate. You're not starving. You're not empty. You're whole, and whole women don't beg. Listen, the cost of shrinking is too high. You think staying small protects you. It doesn't. It suffocates you. It numbs you. It robs you of your destiny. You were not created to play it safe. You were created to expand, to take up space, to shatter ceilings, to break cycles. And that starts with deciding. Decide that you're not available for dysfunction anymore. Decide that you're not settling for relationships that confuse you more than they comfort you. Decide that your peace matters, your purpose matters, your presence matters. This isn't about being cold. It's not about shutting people out. It's about raising your frequency so high that only truth can reach you, only love can stay, only purpose can remain. Because when you truly know your worth, you filter differently. You no longer invite chaos into your life and call it excitement. You no longer mistake trauma bonds for real connection. And I know it hurts sometimes. Growing always does. Healing always does. Detaching from who you used to be is like peeling off skin, raw, uncomfortable, terrifying, but necessary. You cannot become her, the woman you're meant to be, while clinging to the version of you who was just trying to survive. You have to be willing to grieve her, to thank her, to let her go. That scared version of you who kept quiet just to keep the peace. She served her purpose. That broken version who tolerated less because she didn't know better. She carried you this far. That exhausted version who kept pushing through even when no one noticed. She was a warrior. But now it's time for her to rest. Now it's time for the healed you to lead. The you who speaks up. The you who sets boundaries. The you who doesn't tolerate disrespect, not even from herself. The you who no longer doubts her voice, her beauty, her dreams. The you who doesn't shrink for anyone, not at work, not in love, not in life. That you has places to go, people to impact, generations to heal. And she can't do it by staying silent anymore. So rise, not when you feel ready, not when it's convenient, not when it's easy. Rise now, in the mess, in the unknown, in the fear, in the pressure. That's where your power gets forged. Not in comfort and clarity, not in perfect timing, in decisive action, not in applause and alignment. You don't need the whole staircase to take the first step. Just start walking, start speaking, start honoring the fire in your gut that refuses to die, no matter how hard life tries to smother it. That fire, that's your gift. That's your reminder that you were born for more than pain, more than people pleasing, more than survival mode. You were born to thrive, to live a life so full of truth, peace, and power that it makes every tear you cried worth it. So stop saying you're not ready. Stop waiting for someone to notice. You are not a secret. You are not a backup plan. You are not a placeholder until something better comes along. You are the plan. You are the gift. You are the one you've been praying for. Look in the mirror and say it with your chest. I got me, not because I'm hardened, not because I'm bitter, but because I finally understand my life is my responsibility. My healing is mine. My growth is mine. My peace is mine. And nobody gets to hold that but me. So if they walk away, let them. If they don't see your value, thank them for the clarity. If the door closes, build your own. If you're tired of the cycle, break it. Don't wait another year. Don't waste another tear. Don't keep rewriting chapters that need to end. You deserve the full story, not the same page on repeat. And here's the beauty of it all. When you start acting like you're all you've got, something incredible happens. You become all you need. You become your own sanctuary. You become your own motivation. your own safe place, your own miracle. And then only then do you attract love that matches your energy, friendships that respect your soul, opportunities that recognize your light, because you're no longer chasing, you're radiating. So don't just hear these words, live them. Let them get under your skin and rearrange your bones. Let them wake up the parts of you that have been asleep for too long. Let them remind you that it's not too late. You're not too broken. You haven't missed your moment. Your story isn't over. You're just getting started. You're just getting started. That's what they don't understand. They saw you fall and they assumed you'd stay there. They watched you break and assumed that would be the end of your story. But the thing about women like you don't end, you evolve. Every scar on your heart, it's a reminder that you've survived battles most people wouldn't even recognize. Every time you chose to keep going when it would have been easier to quit, that was you building character. You're not here to prove anything to anyone, not anymore. You don't need to explain your healing to people who were never invested in your pain. You don't need to justify your growth to people committed to staying stagnant. You don't need to convince anyone to love you right. You simply are, and that's enough. You're not in the business of potential anymore. You're not holding on to empty promises or waiting for people to change. You're not sacrificing your peace for chaos disguised as passion. You've tasted peace now, and once you've had peace, dysfunction will never feel like home again. You've done enough crying. You've done enough hoping. You've done enough waiting. It's time to take the pen back and rewrite the story yourself. You are not just a character. You are the author. And this next chapter, it's written in bold. It's the chapter where you stop hiding your dreams. The chapter where you stop apologizing for your ambition. The chapter where you stop tiptoeing around people who feel threatened by your shine. This is where you stop editing yourself to make others comfortable. Because the truth is, people who are intimidated by your confidence were never meant to walk with you anyway. The ones who belong in your life will never ask you to dim your light. They'll hand you a match and say, let's set the world on fire. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to raise your standards. You're allowed to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your life. Access is a privilege, not a right. And just because someone had a seat at your table once doesn't mean they still deserve a plate. This is the season where you get clear about your values, clear about your boundaries, clear about your goals. No more blurry lines, no more half commitments, no more pouring into people who show up with empty cups and full expectations. You are no longer available for that version of life. And yes, choosing yourself might make you misunderstood. It might make you the villain in stories told by people who were never meant to stay. That's fine. Be misunderstood. Be the villain. Let them talk. Because peace will always be louder in the long run. Truth always outlasts gossip. And healing always looks selfish to those who benefited from your brokenness. You don't need to be liked to be powerful. You don't need to be palatable to be impactful. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Stop measuring your value by the way others treat you. Start measuring it by how fiercely you show up for yourself. Because the woman who knows who she is doesn't beg to be loved. She becomes the love. She doesn't knock on closed doors. She builds new ones. She doesn't ask, do you think I can? She declares, watch me. And while others are scrolling, comparing, doubting, and delaying, she's moving quietly, consistently, purposefully. Not for show, not for clout, but because she knows that every step she takes for herself is a vote for her future. Let them laugh now. Let them doubt you. Let them assume they know your limits. Every great woman has been underestimated. Every queen has walked through storms that would have drowned lesser souls. You don't need them to believe in you. You just need to believe deeper in yourself. Start waking up with intention. Start speaking to yourself with kindness. Start showing up like your dreams are already real. Because that's the secret. Reality always follows the mindset. If you see yourself as a woman who wins, you start making moves that align with that identity. If you speak life into your future, your actions will follow. You are the soil, the seed, and the rain. Nobody else is going to water your garden like you will. So plant your vision, protect your energy, and cut the weeds. You don't owe your potential to anyone who can't honor it. From now on, walk like you're built for this, because you are. Speak like the universe is listening, because it is. Live like every choice matters, because they do. You only get one shot at this life, one chance to become who you were born to be. One chapter, one breath, one moment at a time. Don't waste it trying to be who they want. Be who you need. The strongest version, the clearest version, the most honest version. And I promise you, once you become her, everything changes. The right people come, the wrong ones fall away, the confusion lifts, the path gets clearer, because God doesn't bless who you pretend to be. He blesses who you are when you're real, raw, and ready. So stand tall, chin up, shoulders back, eyes forward, because the woman you're becoming is not to be played with. She's focused, she's prayed up, she's powerful, she's aligned, and she finally knows the truth. She is all she's got, and that's all she'll ever need.